Oila, oila, oila. Oila, oila, oila.
Details became known much, much later, and it was disowned as something illegal. Here, the legality, the illegality of it has been talked about, embraced, and admitted.
Okay, why do you think there is a certain commentary in India that is trying to do, mental gymnastics around the fact that, oh, you don't know, America did not attack it for oil. Like Trump is literally saying कि भाई मैं तेरे तेल के लिए आया हूँ in no uncertain terms. So the follow up is, okay, everybody knows they went there for the oil, and yes, I get it. Marco Rubio very I think you shared that bit on your Twitter timeline. मैं तेरे यहाँ से ही शायद देखा था, where Marco Rubio very clearly said this is the Western Hemisphere, यहाँ के पप्पा हम किसी को नहीं आने देंगे, China, Russia not allowed. Now if that is the case, see, what I am not able to understand is the kind of oil Venezuela gets, because I started then reading up on all of this, is that thick sadela oil. It is not the shale oil kind of, greenish tinge wala oil that the Americans have.
No. Oil is the same. Oil is oil. You put it through a fractional distillation, and that distills the oil. All oil looks ugly and black. It is then all crude looks ugly and black. There is no difference between shale.
No, Abhijit, it's the viscosity. Viscosity of the product is very different.
Change hota hai. There is a filtration process and things, but they are all, in fact, shale oil is a lot worse, because to get shale, you're literally pumping an extraordinarily toxic substance underground that melts stone. So shale oil, in fact, is much tougher to refine than regular oil produced by wells. And it still all has to go through the distillation tower, where kerosene comes out at a different temperature, diesel comes out at a different temperature, petrol comes out at a different temperature. Now, look at this. This is him today. So it had nothing to do with drugs. It had nothing to do with drugs, because then you wouldn't threaten them again and say, oh, you also have to kick out China, Russia, Iran. This is today's news.
तो किया क्यों है?
It was entirely done for oil, boss. It is there in the national security strategy. Go check my tweet out. I've tweeted out the national security strategy of 2025. Let me send you the tweet.
Share ही कर देना.
1 second.
आलसी खुद का ट्वीट मुझे भेज रहा है. क्या आदमी है तो?
Because I don't have Twitter on my desktop.
Desktop पे नहीं है.
नहीं. 1 second. Let me just send this to ya. ये ले.
किस पे भेजा तूने? WhatsApp किया तूने?
Should I send it to you on Twitter itself?
हाँ, Twitter पे DM कर.
Okay. Sent.
Okay. Got it. Sharing the screen right now. Oh, wow. This is so brazen.
It is. So bring it up.
Yeah, here you go. It is up.
Okay. First one, I want you to see this. We want a Western Hemisphere free of hostile foreign incursion or ownership of key assets, and that supports critical supply chains, and we want to ensure our continued access to key strategic locations. In other words, we will assert and enforce a Trump corollary to the Monroe Doctrine. Second highlighted part, we want to prevent an adversarial power from dominating the Middle East, its oil and gas supplies, and the choke points through which they pass, while avoiding the forever wars that bog down the region at great cost. Next photo. Okay. Principled without being idealistic. It is motivated above all by what works for America. If it does not, if a principle does not work for America, it is discarded. If a law does not work for America, it is discarded. Next.
This is next level foreign policy postmodernism.
Now, we will deny non-hemispheric competitors the ability to position forces or other threatening capabilities, or to own or control strategically vital assets, which is what oil is, in our hemisphere. This Trump corollary to the Monroe Doctrine is a common sense and potent restoration of American power and priorities consistent with American security interests. Now, if some idiot is telling you that this isn't about oil, combined with the news item where he says no, this thing to China, Russia, Iran, and this, boy, they themselves are telling you it is about oil.
Have you seen another more brazen and direct American government apparatus than this one? They're just saying the quiet part out loud. They're not even using flowery language anymore.
They're not. And see, this is a good thing because this was always de facto American practice without it being stated out loud. Now it's been stated out loud. Now, the biggest benefactor of this is Vladimir Ilyich Putin. And the biggest dunce who's going to get it up his ass is Zelensky. Because essentially, what Trump has now said and has been saying since this 2025 document is that there are zones of influence. Nobody should cross red lines in somebody else's zone of influence. Putin has designated Ukraine a zone of influence. Now, if Maduro is convicted by an American court not recognized by international law and can be taken out, Putin doesn't need international validation or an international resolution against Zelensky. He just needs a conviction by a Russian court to take out Zelensky. Have you noticed Zelensky hasn't been seen in the last 2-3 days since Maduro came out, got captured?
I have not.
There's absolutely nothing, no new video of Zelensky. Zero new video of Zelensky. He's probably shitting bricks and hiding somewhere because he now knows if the Russians decide to strike where he is with a missile, he's finished.
No, but the Chinese will do it to Taiwan.
Taiwan is not Ukraine. Taiwan is not Venezuela. Taiwan is it's a first world country. Its per capita income is 3-4 times that of Ukraine. It has never been war ravaged or anything. They're highly professional people. They have a very sophisticated military. And more importantly, they've got about 100 kilometers of ocean separating them. So remember, the German war machine found it impossible to conquer Britain with 40 kilometers of sea. 100 kilometers of sea, the last I checked, is a lot more than 40 kilometers of sea. Not easy. Not easy. Will they try to take out the president of Taiwan? Sure. They could. We can take out Muhammad Yunus as per this law. We can take out Asim Munir as per this law.
I was just going to come to this.
Yeah. As a rule, countries avoid leadership decapitation targeting. As a rule, it's not set in stone, but as a rule, you avoid it because if you do it to some other leader, somebody else can do it to you.
Look, this is what I wanted to spend a good 20 minutes on.
Which is why Israel killed off the entire Iranian Air Force leadership. They killed off Hezbollah and Hamas's leadership, but they did not kill the Lebanese president. They never killed the Syrian president. They will not kill the Iranian president or supreme leader.
So do you think the Americans are going to hit Iran now?
They're trying to, I can tell you, the Iranian leadership is shitting bricks. They were shitting bricks even before, when the Israeli campaign started. The Israelis were giving out the exact location of where Khamenei was. So Khamenei knew that the Iranians knew where he was. which is why he never appeared during the bombing campaign. No? You understand? Uh,
Hmm.
but they can totally do this with Iran, by the way. Because remember, Iran has all kinds of obsolete. I mean, you saw how the Iranian military collapsed during the Israeli campaign. All they could shoot down was what, one or two unarmed drones, propeller driven drones that fly at like 200 kilometers per hour. Not even close to supersonic. Basically, what some idiot child does on the Delhi Agra highway in a BMW.
Hmm. I
Hmm.
want to focus on the Indian angle in all of this, and how this whole Venezuelan thing impacts India, because I was trying to read up on our refinery capacity and what kind of oil we can refine and what our refineries in India prefer. So lo and behold, our refineries prefer this Venezuelan oil.
Yeah, see, we are accustomed to bad quality oil, be it from Iran, be it from Russia, be it from Venezuela. Okay, so the West, what they focus on is going on upgrading their equipment every 5 to 7 years. But ever since, and it makes the quality, I mean, it makes the purity of extraction better. The oil, you can't change the quality based on extraction, right? It's basically a pump. It's just the greater fuel efficiency of the pump. Shale changes it somewhat because the way shale works is, think of it this way: you want to turn rock into a sponge. So you literally dissolve the rock. It's a highly toxic compound that is injected. Imagine it melts rock, at which point you can extract it. Which is why fracking is an extraordinarily dangerous thing. First, it involves drilling deep. Second, any idiot knows that anything powerful enough to be dissolving stone is probably not something you want injected into the earth anywhere near you. Okay, we are suited to thick. Now, there are regional variations depending on what kind of deposits they are. Because remember, not all petrol is the same. We know it's all basically dinosaur organic material that that died and got compressed heavily. Okay, through forces of nature and whatever. T-Rex would have produced a different kind of petrol from, I guess, Diplodocus. Apparently, Diplodocus is no longer considered a dinosaur. Is it Diplodocus or a Brontosaurus that's no longer considered a dinosaur? I
देख
forget
भाई,
now.
मेरे को ऐसे क्वेश्चन मत पूछ, मैंने सिर्फ जुरासिक पार्क देखी है, मेरे को कोई डायनासोर के बारे में मालूम नहीं है.
Okay. So maybe one has 50% Triceratops, 10% Diplodocus, 25% Tyrannosaurus Rex, different fat content, different whatever, different protein, this thing, different formula for this thing. So all of these things matter, fine, but the basic component is the same. Our refineries have actually been upgraded. So it's not true. They are also very well suited for the kind of crude America produces, which is shale crude, some shale crude, but a lot of non shale crude also. America has very significant reserves of oil itself, by the way, which people don't seem to realize. Uh, Non shale oil of the Texas oil fields and things like that. Sorry, in the Gulf of Mexico. So it's fine. We can do a lot of things.
What I have understood is Jamnagar refinery is very well equipped for this.
Jamnagar is equipped for everything. People don't realize this, but Jamnagar is most probably the most advanced refinery because it has been constantly updated. They have multiple different kinds of distillation towers for different kinds of fractional splitting of whatever crude comes in. At one point, it used to be uniquely matched to Iranian crude. Not anymore. Now they're able to deal with all kinds of crude.
And, would buying Venezuelan oil be cheaper for us or buying the Russian one?
No, it really depends on the price. You see, the thing about Venezuela, let me bring up a map and show you this. See, Venezuela is in the Atlantic Ocean, right? And it's really, really far. So, wait, maps.google.com. Venezuela. Okay, let me change this to. Okay. Let me share this. Okay. Can you see Venezuela here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now see, American crude can come to us very directly like so. Comes here, Gulf of Mexico, all the way through here to India. Venezuela has to go through the Panama Canal. Who owns the Panama Canal now these days after threats? Seems like everybody has forgotten that America promised to take over the Panama Canal as well. But anyway, America has de facto control pretty much over the Panama Canal, so they're not going to let you. The other way you can do it is you come from here, you go here, which means you have to slow down twice, three times actually. From here, you have to slow down at Gibraltar, go through extremely crowded waters, then go through the Suez Canal, go through the pirate infested waters of the Red Sea, and transit through here. And finally, this and this area, this is less pirate of Djibouti uh, and Eritrea. This is more pirate. This is in fact pirate central. Two failed states, Yemen and Somalia, which is now Somaliland, by the way. This has now become Somaliland. So now how this slows down. The second way you can do it is, and Cape of Good Hope is a horrible sail. It's truly nasty going here. So understand, American crude is easier to come to India than Venezuelan crude because it is not just the cost of the crude. It is cost of crude plus transportation. And because of the blockade, Venezuelan ships, nobody wants to insure Venezuelan ships and things like that. So high risk, higher cost, and things like that as well. As long as they were willing to sell it not at market price to keep currency flowing, it was fine. Now, I doubt that very much.
So basically, for India, it's more Iranian and Russian. That's where we would be better off.
Iranian, Russian, a lot from the Arab Peninsula.
Hmm.